Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I am sharing all about internships. So we're going to talk about how I found my internship this past semester, how the interview process went, my tips for resumes and interviews, my experience inside the internship, and then obviously how you guys can do the same, because I've honestly had such a great internship experience this last semester. Even though it was remote, it wasn't what I was expecting, but yeah, I'm excited to share this video. I know it was requested, and it was a paid internship, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm excited to tell you guys all that I've learned. So first off, I want to tell you about the internship and where it's at and all of that. And it is with Octoly, which is a company which connects influencers to brands, mainly beauty brands, for free gifted product in exchange for posts or reviews on the product. So that's pretty much the basics. It's an influencer gifting platform. So the company is originally out of France, but I interned with their New York offices. Let me just tell you a little backstory. If you don't know what my fall semester is going to be like, I was supposed to be in New York this semester interning in person, but then 2 weeks before I left, I had some contacts with internships. I was ready to commit, and then it got canceled. However, at Octoly, it is a startup company and they're fairly small, but they were all working remotely. So no one obviously in New York was in the offices in September, and so they still offered me the position, and I got to work remote from Nashville, but with their New York team and some people from their French team who lived in Paris. How cool. My intern title at Octoly is Customer Success Intern, which basically means I manage everything from the brand's perspective to our customers, basically our influencers. So I work on the Instagram. I post every day on the Instagram stories. We're working a little bit on TikTok. I helped kind of their online help portal, responding to influencer requests and doing the weekly newsletters, also just helping with like office tasks, but obviously all digitally. So that's kind of been my role. So first I want to talk about where I found this internship or the other internships that I looked for. So Belmont did give me some help with some websites, but they don't find an internship for you. So it was all up to me to find the internship and set it up. And so I looked on LinkedIn for one thing. I just looked at all the cool companies I wanted to work for. I'm an entrepreneurship major, and so that's not like a typical intern role, but I wanted to look in smaller companies, more like startups, so that I could get a feel for, you know, the starting of a business. And the roles that I looked for were in e-commerce, marketing, and PR. I looked on LinkedIn a lot at just like the companies that I use on a daily basis, beauty companies, fashion companies, and looked and see if they had interns in the past, and maybe contacted them, reached out to their intern coordinator if it had that job title listed, or just followed them on LinkedIn and went and saw if they had any job applications, intern applications open. I also used Indeed.com and Handshake.com. I will say my best of luck was through LinkedIn, like making connections and stuff, but you can use Indeed and you can use Handshake. And then how I actually got my internship at Octoly is a little bit different than normal. My intern coordinator, she had a friend, an influencer friend in New York. The influencer friend followed me on Instagram. I put on my story, I was looking for internships, you know, if anyone had any recommendations, and the influencer recommended me to Octoly, which was so great. We love women supporting women, women connecting women, yes. And so the internship coordinator reached out to me over Instagram DM, like how 2020 is that, you know, we're finding internships through Instagram, and just offered like, hi, you look like exactly what we're looking for. I'd love to set up a little meetup call. So I had a call, then I had an interview, and then I had like a project where I had to kind of respond to prompts and set up a social media campaign just to see kind of my work. And so that was my interview process. It was like a quick call, a main interview, and then a project to work on. And it came down to the end where, you know, I told them like, I'm not actually going to be in New York like I thought I was going to be, but they still offered me the position since I could do it remotely. They were all working remotely. So it is super cool that I found my internship through Instagram. I think it makes sense since I work on the brand's Instagram. But yeah, that's how I found mine. Like I said, just going to LinkedIn, and even if they don't have an application open on their website or on their LinkedIn, find maybe like their intern coordinator, maybe their communications coordinator or HR person, just reaching out on LinkedIn and asking, you know, do you have any internship positions open? I'm looking for credits, or I'm looking for a paid opportunity, whatever it may be, and kind of just touching base and introducing yourself, because the least they can say is, no, we don't have any open right now. And I got that a lot. I applied to probably 8 internships, and I only had two, Octoly, and then one other actually like say yes, confirm, and I turned down the other because I turned down the other and chose Octoly. All right, so now getting into some tips like to stand out in the process. I think going back to LinkedIn, it's important, and I hated hearing this because before this year I had not set up my LinkedIn at all. I was like, this confuses me, I don't understand it, but just making sure it looks professional, listing all recent work experiences, basically like you would on a resume, but put it on your LinkedIn. You guys can definitely look me up on LinkedIn. I'll put my LinkedIn in the description if you want some help on like how to word it and stuff. It's not perfect, but I do appreciate it. If there's any media of you maybe winning an award and there's like a picture from your local newspaper that you can get online, like link that to your LinkedIn. I feel like having media really, it like verifies your successes. It's not just you writing like, oh yeah, I'm an honors student. If you have a picture of you like the school posted about you being an honors student, like put that media into your LinkedIn page through an article, through a link. I just feel like adding media really helps give you credibility and makes your page exciting. So that would be one of my #1 tips for LinkedIn. When it comes to resumes, there's a lot of workshops. There's going to be a lot of better videos out there that help you with resumes than what I can give you. But I do want to share my resume with you guys just so you can get an idea of how I formatted it, what I listed on my resume. It's not super pretty. You can do a more like editorial looking one. I just was advised to give like a basic Google Doc resume. So here you can check the description box again for mine. But you know, you want to have your relevant classes you've taken, what school you're graduating from, what your major is in, what your degree will be in. You can put your GPA, but only if it's good. I would say like above a 3.5, I think is what I was advised. Add your relevant experiences and work history, and then I think adding your skills is super important. If you know how to use Canva, if you know how to use Photoshop, if you know how to use Excel, like add all those tech skills to your resume for sure. One pro to this pandemic, obviously I wanted to work in the New York offices and get that real intern experience, but what is great is that your intern opportunities have opened up widely because everyone's working remotely and working from home. So let's say you live in Austin, Texas, but you want to intern at a company in LA that you love, you can apply because they're probably hiring remote interns. So it doesn't matter where you live, you can work there. And so before, when you could just intern in your local city or in your college town, now your opportunities are so much more widened. Again, I got to work at a New York company from my Nashville apartment. It was great. My roommate did the same. So my first tip, obviously, is you want to know the company culture, and you can kind of figure this out in the interview. I think college students probably a lot of times don't actually ask the interviewee questions. They think it's all about like them answering the right questions, but it's a two-way street in an interview. And so you also want to figure out like what the role would be, what you would be doing, what skills you can maybe take away from this internship, especially if it's not paid. You want to make sure that like it's worth your time and you're learning something. Ask them what the company culture is like. What was it like when you guys were in the office versus what is the culture like now that you're online? You can ask these questions and hopefully they'll be transparent with them. I think if they're like a really mission forward company, they will be transparent with them. And the next thing is it is okay to ask questions. I know talking to peers, it can be kind of intimidating if you're the youngest one there, you're the youngest one in the meetings, but it is totally okay to ask questions. They know you're an intern, they know you're still learning, you don't have to have all the answers. And I think getting clear specifics when they assign you things is so important. I've seen myself make some mistakes and then also friends in internships where they don't know when the deadline is. And so I've had some friends where they like hustle and get a huge project done within the day and like work overtime because they didn't know if it was due the next day. And the employer was like, oh, you didn't have to finish this for another week. And so they stressed themselves out for no reason just because they didn't ask for a deadline or ask specifics about what the employer wanted. And so I think it's best to just ask to get exactly what they want so you can try to meet their needs and meet their goals the first time around instead of them like making critiques and you having to redo it. Just know from the beginning like what they want, when it's due, what's expected, and go from there. And then the last tip, which I still need to do, is to stay connected. So like I said, I'm still in my internship, but I plan on sending the 3 women that I've had more direct contact with in this internship just a handwritten note thanking them for bringing me on, for working with me. I also am going to stay connected with them on like Instagram and LinkedIn, and maybe just, you know, once a year follow up, because who knows, maybe I'll want to work there one day. So I think it's really important to stay connected, to keep those connections. You don't know, you just spent like, you know, a whole semester networking and meeting and working with these people, and who knows, maybe they'll be able to help you down the line in the future, or you can help them in some way. You just never know. So I think staying connected is super important, and I really plan on doing that in my internship. Alright, so that was it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I just wanted to give you guys some insight on what my internship has been like, give you some tips that you can apply to your own internship search. Of course, like always, I like to open up the comments to you because you guys are so amazing and so smart and so successful. And so comments below if you have any tips, if you've been an intern. Again, this was only my first internship, and so I think I still have more to learn. I mean, I need to do at least one more in college that's not paid, that's for class credit. And so I will be doing another internship in the next year and a half. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more like school specific videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!